Well, good morning, everybody. I'm glad you're here, and I want to thank you, Bob, for keeping the introduction brief. It is my birthday today, 58, so thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you all for having me today. I want to acknowledge Boston Mayor Marty Walsh, who is also here. I know he is almost as excited as I am to welcome you to the city and to the Commonwealth. And I want to acknowledge, I understand Reince Priebus of the Republican National Committee is here as well. I credit his presence because in a healthy democracy, no voter and no voice should be taken for granted. As I welcome you, I want to tell you why I think you're in the right place at the right time, at least those of you who managed to get here on time. And since, come on, we're family, come on. And since you are journalists and therefore professionally skeptical of everything anybody says, maybe I should preface my comments with a little more personal context. I am a liberal Democrat from a reliably blue state in which there are, in fact, more unenrolled independents than there are registered Democrats and registered Republicans combined. I'm a black man elected governor twice in a state where African Americans account for only about 8% of the population. I'm a capitalist who believes we need to grow the economy, not just to create wealth, although that is good, but also and mainly to create opportunity. I've spent most of my professional life in the private sector, but I don't hate government. And while I don't believe government can solve every problem in everybody's life, I know private markets can't either. In other words, like you and most people you and I know, I don't fit neatly in any box. Basically, I believe most political labels and much political orthodoxy is stale, and I am suspicious of conventional wisdom. Indeed, of all such political rhetoric, none has failed us more, in my view, than that which says that you grow a modern economy by cutting taxes, crushing unions, shrinking governments, and leaving markets to do the rest. That, in a nutshell, is the approach preached by Republicans and taken in Massachusetts under 16 years of Republican governors. Starting in 2007, we took a different approach, investing time, money, and ideas in education, innovation, and infrastructure. And I want to tell you what that has produced. When we entered office in 2007, Massachusetts was 47th in the nation in job creation. Then, to make matters worse, along came a global economic collapse. Nearly 8 years later, not only have we regained all the jobs lost in the Great Recession, one of the first states in America to do so, but we are at a 25-year high in employment. Our economy has grown twice as fast as the national growth rate, and we are first in the nation in both economic competitiveness and entrepreneurial activity. When we got here, the public schools were making progress after years of reform efforts, but achievement gaps persisted. Today, we are #1 in the nation in student achievement, at or near the top in the world in math and science, and #1 for overall child well-being. We are closing achievement gaps. We have more charter schools and other innovative models than ever. Our community colleges are a coordinated system for workforce development, and our universities are supported and well-funded again. When we got here, healthcare reform was but words on paper. Today, nearly 99% of our residents are insured. Healthcare costs for families, small businesses, and local governments are down, and on a host of measures, we are healthier. When we got here, there was no energy policy, and electricity rates were at an all-time high. Today, we are first in the nation in energy efficiency. We have a booming, nationally recognized clean tech sector that is growing jobs at double-digit rates. We've grown wind and solar generation from 3 megawatts each to over 100 and over 500 megawatts, respectively. Emissions are sharply reduced, and we've cleared the way for America's first offshore wind farm. I can go on and on. For the last 8 years, our budgets have been balanced, timely, and fiscally responsible. We've made our pension system more fair and sustainable. Our rainy day fund is one of the strongest in the country, and we've achieved the highest bond rating in Commonwealth history. We are a more just Commonwealth today. In fact, today in Massachusetts, you can marry whomever you love. So you're in the right place at the right time, because Massachusetts is back in the leadership business. We are not yet where we will be, but we are well ahead of where we were because we put an end to governing for the next election cycle or next news cycle and started governing instead for the next generation. And this is really the point I want to make. I like to brag about Massachusetts. In fact, I'm proud for the opportunity to do that, but I'm bragging rather first to show that a strategy of investing in education, innovation, and infrastructure works, and second, to challenge the popular rhetoric that says economic prosperity comes when governments tax as little as possible, spend as little as possible, and regulate as little as possible. The results are on our side. So why isn't every governor doing the same thing? Every governor I know hears the aspirations of the people they serve for better jobs, better schools, better infrastructure, a better future. They are the same elements of the American dream that generations of strivers have hoped and worked for. But some of us are enthralled and ultimately, I think, held back by soundbite governing. No new taxes is a great slogan until it's time to rebuild the roads and bridges, retrain the long-term unemployed, or otherwise engage the public on the price of civilization. Smaller government is a great slogan until there's a hurricane or a tornado or a terrorist attack, and we need police, firefighters, and EMTs on the streets, or until there aren't enough social workers to look after properly the most vulnerable families. Cut regulations is an effective rallying cry until unregulated pharmacies poison people, or narcotic painkillers start turning suburban teens into self-destructive addicts, or industry starts contaminating farmland. You wonder what kind of Alice in Wonderland world we're living in when governors in some states defend measures to limit access to the vote by claiming they are fixing a voter fraud problem that doesn't exist. Governing is not easy work, not if you're serious about achieving real and meaningful results. This job, as I experience it, is a funny blend of substance and performance art. But your job might be even harder, especially if you're a political reporter, because you have to report on the drama and the substance without confusing the two. We need you to get that right. A functioning democracy needs a well-informed public, and that public needs to be versed in the substance of the politics, not just entertained by the drama of it. We need you to challenge the leaders who say they want to get results but then actively refuse to act. Like the folks who say we need to rebuild our highway system then refuse to fund the Highway Trust Fund. Or who say they want fiscal discipline then push the federal government into default. Or the folks who say Americans should have the security of health insurance then vote to take it away. We need you to challenge the racist bullies who claim you are the ones playing the race card when they are the ones who keep dealing it. We need you to ask why, in a country whose public is ready for pragmatic and compassionate solutions, some leaders offer immigrant hatred in the place of immigration reform. We need you to challenge public officials to consider private sector solutions, to challenge private sector leaders to consider public solutions, and to challenge us all to find solutions together. We need you to challenge any politician willing to hurt the country for political gain. Inaction has a price, and we need an informed public to exact that price at the polls. The reason we are making things happen here in the Commonwealth, the reason we are confident in our future, is because we are shaping that future. By working together, government and the private sector, for-profits and not-for-profits, labor and management, organizations and individuals. We don't always agree. We have still big issues to face down, big problems to solve, big dreams to fulfill. But we move forward doing the hard, deliberate work of finding solutions because some of us know that outrage, though a staple of modern political reporting, never once solved a problem. I'm really glad you're here. I hope you have a wonderful conference. Thank you very much.